Greetings and welcome to the channel. It's Mikhailov from Team Retro, where we like retro games and the devices that bring them to us. So, a couple of weeks ago, I put on my social media that I was doing a challenge where I used the ROG Ally X as my only device, with the caveat that I also had to use the Powkitty V90S because that was what I was reviewing that week. And so for a whole week, all I used for all my computing needs, all my streaming needs, gaming needs, productivity needs, whatever it was, I did it all on the ROG Ally X. And so in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about what that experience was like, what I learned using the ROG Ally X as my only device, and we're going to find out if the ROG Ally X can actually be a laptop or a desktop replacement, considering its pretty expensive price point. So let's dive in and get to work. So let's get started with the ground rules. Rule number 1. I was only allowed to use the ROG Ally X for all of my tasks for that 1 week. That means video editing, watching TV, work for my day job, all of it. Rule number 2. I can still use my phone, but I cannot game on it. Just the bare minimum of things that I need my phone for. Texting, calls, camera, and Discord. Rule number 3. I can attach any accessories to the ROG Ally X that I need to. That means keyboard, mouse, monitor, webcam, television, and controllers. I could have attached an eGPU for this rule, but I decided to see how well the Ally X worked without it. Because this is a fairly expensive Windows handheld, and there are newer versions coming out later this year with a more Xbox branding behind it, my goal is to see how viable this handheld is as a daily driver, and to show you if this is an alternative to buying a dedicated laptop or desktop computer. Because at the Ally X and upcoming Xbox Ally's price point, for many of you, the choice may come down to this, a laptop, or a desktop. So let's grab my Ally X and... What just happened?
Looks like your battery died.
What are you talking about? I always have a power cable. Where's my power cable?
So that's what that was. Yeah, sorry, I had to borrow it.
You took my power cable.
Borrowed. And trust me, it was for something super important.
Only a matter of time till another Ambernick shows up.
Super important.
Luckily, you've been breaking into my house long enough that I'm actually prepared for your nonsense.
Hey, it's that thing I gave you for Christmas.
It's not a bowl of cereal.
It's not? Well, if you angle it just right and squint or something, it kind of looks like it. Well, what is it anyway?
Introducing the UGREEN Nexode Power Bank, your hassle-free travel power kit. The power bank can deliver up to 100 watts via a single USB-C or 165 watts via 2 USB-C ports. With 100 watts output, it could charge a 14-inch MacBook Pro from 0 to 54% in just 30 minutes. It has 3 ports, 2 USB-C and 1 USB-C-A, and can charge up to 3 devices simultaneously. This was very integral for using the ROG Ally X as my only device, because while it was charging, the power bank actually triggered the Ally's turbo mode and allowed me to game at a 30-watt TDP while plugged into the power bank. It also automatically adjusts to the wattage of whatever device you're charging. So when charging something smaller, like the Powkitty V90S, the power bank sends the appropriate amount of wattage to that specific device and will charge it. This power bank is super easy to use. Simply pull to reveal a 0.65 meter retractable USB-C cable, which can be strengthened to a short length or to a bit of a longer length if you're using something like a laptop. Whether on a business trip, commuting, or just traveling long distances, Its powerful output keeps your devices charged, while its retractable design keeps the area neat. It's designed for durability with over 25,000 retraction cycles and 10,000 plus bend tests. With the smart TFT display, you can get real-time insight at a glance, track remaining battery, input-output power, voltage, current, and power flow curve with a smart digital display. UGREEN also has a 65-watt retractable charger featuring a 0.7 meter retractable cable, 65-watt fast charging, and a retractable cable that can charge up to 100 watts. Please check out the links in the video description where you can receive up to 30% off on these amazing UGREEN products. Okay, now that we're back up and running thanks to UGREEN, and no thanks to Nefarious, let's talk about the various ways in which I had to make the Ally X more productive, because unfortunately, in order to really get the most out of your ROG Ally X as a productivity device, you need to have accessories. So let's start with what you need to do to make the Ally X a full-blown productivity laptop. And to do that, you should get a lapdock like this one from UPERFECT. This laptop was sent to me for review direct by UPERFECT, as is always required. All opinions are my own, I'm not being paid, and they're not seeing this in advance. The lapdock, for the most part, gets the job done. I was able to connect the Ally X direct using a USB-C cable, and I got a full 1080p 120Hz image on a 15.6-inch IPS display. There's also a 10,800 mAh battery in the lapdock, so you only need to connect the Ally X to it, and you could get up to 6 hours on a single charge. There are wireless options too, if you want to use something wireless like the Samsung DeX, which I filmed that footage after I did the challenge. This was a device I used when I needed to get actual work done, and I wasn't tethered to my desk, so you'll see the lapdock quite a bit in this video. I'll leave a link in the video description if you're interested in picking up this lapdock. Keep in mind, a solution like this isn't perfect. The trackpad is on the right side of the device instead of centered, and I'm left-handed. This caused some difficulty using the trackpad with the Ally X. It's also not a very responsive trackpad. I eventually got frustrated with it and switched back to a mouse, which I kept on the left side. The keyboard is also kind of cramped, so when I was typing away, I would often hit a key I didn't mean to hit, and that messed up my productivity just a bit. The screen was a very good size, so for gaming, I was able to connect a controller via Bluetooth and enjoy the benefits of a bigger screen when sitting at a desk or somewhere where I was away from a television or monitor. Ultimately, however, as the week went on, I gave up on the idea of using this device as a laptop. Summer school hadn't started yet, so I spent the challenge mostly working on my YouTube channel from home. Because I was home, I ended up really not needing a $500 laptop that was only somewhat effective. I just used what I already had around the house from my dedicated desktop. I connected the ROG Ally to my ultra-wide monitor with a UGREEN hub. I bought this one, and I used Bluetooth to connect my 8BitDo mouse and keyboard. I also connected my mic and my webcam, and I was able to actually use the Ally X to stream live to the Save State podcast using the Ally X. Being online with Wi-Fi and having all these peripherals plugged in definitely impacted the experience. Even though you can't see it in this footage, and ultimately my time on the podcast turned out okay, from my point of view, the other podcast hosts sounded robotic due to the latency. On their end, everything was fine, but on my end, it was not a great experience. Even when trying to use the Ally X as a productivity machine, I also felt bottlenecked from doing heavy tasks like editing videos using DaVinci Resolve. For that, I usually need 2 monitors, so I brought back the UPERFECT Lapdock to use as a second monitor and also plugged the Ally X into my ultra-wide. Working in turbo mode, which is a 30-watt TDP when plugged in, editing a video was okay, but I definitely experienced a bottleneck. I was able to successfully edit the majority of my Powkitty V90S review video, but there were times where I did encounter that slowdown when editing 4K footage. And I found that during the challenge week, the versatility of my Ally X was not as a laptop, but as a desktop. This thing was meant for 2 things: using it in handheld mode and using it in docked mode, much like a Nintendo Switch. That goes for productivity as well as gaming. When connecting to a monitor with a full mouse and keyboard, things were great. Connecting it to a laptop-style dock, maybe not so much. Ultimately, though, the Ally X did perform the best doing what it was meant to do: play video games. I played a lot of Palworld during this week, and this is a game I typically play using the Xbox app so I could bounce between PCs and Xbox while maintaining my save file in the cloud. I'm not really here to split hairs on gameplay because I already have a review video and a second look video I'll leave in the description as well as in the cards at the top of the screen. What I did notice, however, when using the Ally X as my only device is that gameplay when connected to my ultra-wide monitor was really darn good. The Ally X recognized the resolution of the monitor, and when gaming on the Ally X, I saw very little distinction between playing on the Ally versus playing on my dedicated gaming desktop computer. So with that, let's wrap things up with my final thoughts. The ROG Ally X is still a gaming beast. If you have a gaming desktop that needs an upgrade, you could potentially use this handheld as that upgrade. This handheld provides a great dock mode experience thanks to Windows and will adapt itself to the resolution of the monitor you are connecting it to, making this a perfectly fine device for word processing, checking email, binging TV shows, or watching YouTube. In that sense, the Ally X is a productivity fiend and will serve you well. However, it's not a perfect experience, which may want you longing for a dedicated desktop or laptop instead. The Ally X doesn't like having too many peripherals connected to it, and that does bottleneck this device. The device is also hampered by heavy tasks like editing 4K footage in DaVinci Resolve or streaming to a live podcast. And finally, it's not really worth spending the extra money for a laptop in addition to the handheld itself, because these lapdocs, while useful for something like Samsung DeX, have finicky trackpads and keyboards, and in addition it's an extra thing to carry around as opposed to just taking the money that you would have spent on the Ally X and the lapdoc, which is over $1,000 at this point, and just get yourself a decent gaming laptop and a controller. But overall, this was actually a fun experiment for science, and there is potential merit to buying a Windows handheld and using it as a desktop replacement. I think ultimately that depends on your needs. For me, however, nothing beats a dedicated device. The Ally X is dedicated for gaming. I can do some other things, while a desktop or laptop is better dedicated for productivity and can also do some gaming. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And please feel free to continue the conversation in the Retro Handhelds Discord, where you can find me hanging out in between videos. And if you want to support the channel like these wonderful people on the screen, you can do so by going to my Patreon page. Links for all these places are in the description. But that'll do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and please be sure to like and subscribe if this video was helpful to you in any way. Every smash with that button helps the channel grow and allows me to get more content out to you. But until next time, bye for now, and don't stop believing.